bitches. We are coming to you live
Let's
from
not
the
do that.
Music Lens podcast with me, Alex Allegra.
No, absolutely not. I don't know how to put this with you sitting like that.
Okay, well, Katie's a bitch on the bitch on the bitch. So, Karma is a bitch. Karma is a bitch. Hi, welcome to the Music Lens podcast with me, Alex Allegra.
And Katie Fee.
Part 3 of songs we pick from magical buckets. I guess this one really wants to be first. Fuck it. And we're going to give from our brains to our mouths to the people on the internet our opinions of these songs and albums of the first half of the... Katie looks terrified at the moment.
I don't know what you're doing.
I don't either.
But yeah, all this is from the first half of 2024.
Yes. How are we still
This
going?
is part 3.
I don't really know. Apparently there was a lot of new music.
There's potentially a part 4, depending how fast we can get through these. We'll see. But if this is the first one you're listening to, go back and listen/watch the first 2.
So buckle in, bitches, because we're about to get started. Katie, it is my turn to go first. How dare she?
Okay.
My bucket.
Okay.
Fiddle in the Band, Kate and Brown.
Remember in part 1 when I was like, there's some in there because I like fiddle parts?
Oh.
That's one of them.
This is just a fiddle one.
I'm
not a
it's
huge
a fiddle
Kate and Brown
song.
fan, so I don't know his
I love
stuff.
that he has fiddle in a lot of his songs because he does more pop country.
Well, he's
And
supposed to be a pop artist. He's not supposed to be a country artist. I don't know how he got branded as pop country, but
no, he was definitely country, and then he put out one pop song, but it didn't do anything.
I mean, when he first came onto the scene, his bio and everything was a pop artist. Like, he was supposed to be a pop artist. I don't know how it got crossed, but we did his merchandising class. We, like, had to remake for tour management. We had to remake, or tour merchandising. We had to remake people's merch. And we had to do his as one of the people.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be a pop artist.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, despite his like pop leaning sounds, he has a lot of fiddle. So I like that. He still has a fiddle and stuff.
His song with Marshmello was recorded in Nashville, and they were looking for people to be in the music video. I do know that. I couldn't be there, but...
Okay. Let's move on. Cut! Maren Morris.
Oh, I love this song so much. I didn't really, when I just saw her, I didn't listen to the song for a while, but then I was just watching her, like, reels and TikToks of it, and she was just saying, like, and I didn't have the sound on, I have the hiccups, sorry. Hiccups are gone. So I would just see, like, the lyrics, and I didn't really get it, because it just said cut and fuck, or like cut and let my tears fall where they want, and I didn't really get it. But then when I listened to the song, I was
you
like,
understand.
Oh my god, this is so good. And I love that it's every good song needs an intermission, or every good something
show
needs an intermission. I love that line.
I can't
Whatever
remember,
the
but
line
I would
is
assume
exactly.
show needs an intermission.
Oh yeah, but it's so good. I'm so excited for her new album. I think it sounds more like it's going to be in the vein of what she started with, which is what I loved. Like I said, her last album was fine. I think Girl deserved so much more than it got, because I loved that album.
Did it get album of the year, or did it it had a nomination at least?
Yeah. But I just think it deserved more credit for it. There's a lot of really good songs on there, and I just think a lot of them got overshadowed by stuff for some reason. And I love that Maren's such an activist for women and LGBT plus community, and just speaks her mind and doesn't do it because it's trending or whatever. And I really love her so much. So.
Yeah, and Julie Michaels is great too. We met her. She came and spoke at Belmont, and she stayed and met people after, so we did get to meet her. But I like that they're collabing together.
Yeah, and if you like Julia Michaels' music, our friend Shir, Shir, is also very similar sounding and a really great songwriter out in LA. So you should check out her music as well.
Yes. All right.
Confetti.
Flick it away.
The flick of the wrist. TTPD, Taylor Swift, the big boy.
Yeah. That one had to be pulled at some point. I'm glad it was early in this one, yes. So we know what we have time-wise.
So it got secret out. It got pulled in part 1, but it was at the end of part 1, and we didn't want that to run super long with just a big
that's
tangent
gonna take too much time.
Of TTBD. I'm wondering how much we're actually going to talk about it. Originally, when it first came out, and another reason why we made this series was because we wanted to talk so much about it that it was almost going to be its own episode, and then we were like, we can't make it a whole episode of tangents. So throw it in with something else. Plus, we wanted to let the songs sit a little bit, I think.
Digest them,
we wanted
understand
to see
the
if
lyrics
it was
better.
Be in the show, which it was.
It is, yes.
Which, you know what's so funny, actually? Because I think I had this dream, like, a day or two ago, so it's kind of relevant. Okay. But first of all, I have the weirdest dreams ever. Like, you know how people want to watch their dreams when they wake up on the TV? Like, I would love to show people why my mind is so crazy insane is because of those dreams. But I had a dream the other night that I got this random package, and it was supposed to go to my work, but it came to me instead at my house here. But it was a bunch of other boxes, but on top was a package from Taylor Swift, and it was the whole entire anthology complete, and I was about to call you, and I was like, I finally have it, and Brandon like didn't understand, and I was like, no, because I have it all, and no one else does, and I have it, like, because honestly, Taylor, if you do not release the anthology, I don't know.
Why is this not a physical version?
I don't understand why half of the album is not actually in physical form.
Yeah,
it drives me insane. I'm also, like, are we missing something?
Can we just the Tortured Poets department, because we just said TTPD. So any casual Taylor people, just
that's
so you
fair.
know what
I hate
we're talking about.
What are they called?
Abbreviations?
No.
Acronyms? I feel like it's... Yeah, acronyms, sure.
I hate when people shorten it like that, and then I'm, like, sitting there for 5 minutes watching a TikTok.
Sometimes it takes so long.
Like, what the fuck does that mean? What is ATW? Like, I know that's all too well, but, like, you know...
It's like... Hang on. Wow or something is like kind of how it looks for like Who's Afraid of Little Me, because there's so many letters.
Okay, and like it takes me a while to think about it, but yes. I mean, we could honestly go song by song. I have like probably something, but
that might be an idea of something we can do if we get to a point where we're doing this more full-time-ish, of having like bonus episodes where we like go track by track for albums and stuff. But I don't think the general public wants us to do that for Taylor, so that would be like very niche down.
This is my first the core album itself is my first no skip album.
Okay.
The only one I skip on the anthology is Robin, and I know I'm going to get hate for that. I don't care for that song. I don't care for a lot of her songs like that, though. Like Folklore, didn't like Epiphany and Seven.
Okay.
Like, it's very consistent as to which ones I don't like. It's those kind of odd-sounding ones.
I listened to the first part when it came out at, like, literally, like, right when it came out, and I'm like, okay, I can tell this is definitely not my favorite album of hers. And then the second half dropped, and I was like, this is better. Just because I liked the more folklore type sounds and stuff. But then I find that I listen to the first half more than the second half now. But I think it's like it took time to grow on me for that first half and really digest and all that stuff. But
it's my no skip. It's such a good album. I love it.
I will say it is so long, though, that like the last like several songs on like the anthology is just, I haven't listened to them all that many times because I just don't get to them.
Yeah.
If I'm listening in order.
Put it on shuffle, so that I can just get random ones at different times.
Peter, Robin, Manuscript, I just don't listen to as much.
My thing is Peter doesn't come up in my shuffle a lot, like in the early parts of it, or like, so unless I'm in the car for an extended period of time, I don't get to it. Robin is just too far at the end to be that slow, and right next to the Manuscript, which the Manuscript is just this perfect piece of art that I'm like, oh my god, I'm in love with this. So Robin's just not it for me. No. I don't like Labyrinth on Midnights either. Like, if you want to know those kinds of songs that aren't for me, it's those kinds. But I know that was such an unpopular opinion. The first, like, I just knew, which is fine. I don't care. I have very unpopular opinions about things, which is fine. They're my opinions. Yeah. Hence the podcast, because why not piss off some people? Because I'm sure we'll have comments about it. But I just, it's the perfect blend of Evermore and Midnights for me. It is just like that perfect meeting point.
It's and like Midnights and Evermore a little bit too.
And Evermore and Midnights are like some of my favorite albums by her. So this is just like that perfect blend of like everything that I like on both of those albums. The like poetry folksiness and like the second half of it. And then the first one is the messy drama that we love Taylor for, and all the lyrics and just funness and it's just so great. So that's why I just love this album so much. My top ones when I first listened were Down Bad, Down Bad. Oh gosh, what's the song? Why can't I think of it?
Not Guilty as Sin?
No.
Okay.
Well, I do love Guilty as Sin. But what's the one that
first half?
Yes, it's in the first half. It's
Florida.
No. You know, my boy only breaks his favorite toys has grown on me a lot too.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the first three sound very sonically very similar. So like the stupid gnat's back. I want to just kill the stupid gnat. So like in the beginning, I get why people might be like, okay, and then it transitions from Down Bad onwards. It's like, Kate said it was like the Lana Del Rey sounding one. It's like the like westerny kind of vibe.
Fresh Out the Slammer?
Yes, I loved Fresh Out the Slammer when I first heard it too. I was like, holy
I just
crap.
like the rhyme scheme happening in the verses of like having that repetitive rhyme like back to back to back to back of like the summer thunder cover, that one, and then like right after that the like winter one. Like I just liked that she had all those rhymes back to back to back to back.
Yeah,
because it just like rolls off your tongue so nicely, and it's so just pleasing to the ear.
I'm gonna pull up the track list just because it's so long that I forget half of them sometimes.
2 Girls, 1 Ghost.
Oh, and I'm Gonna Get You Back, which just reminds me of old Taylor in so many ways, and honestly,
for some reason, it makes me think of I'm Gonna Get You Good by Shania. It's not actually the same idea, but at first I thought it was, because people were like mad that they're like, oh, Taylor says like Olivia Rodrigo needs to pay her royalties for these things, but then she just did it too for an Olivia song of that's the same idea. I'm like, yeah, it's an idea that's not copyrightable. There's multiple songs with the same concept.
Oh, no, and I wasn't thinking of... Fresh Out the Slammer was one of my favorites, but I was talking about I Can Fix Him, No Really I Can.
Okay.
That's the one that sounds very, like, Western.
I think Fresh Out the Slammer has a little bit,
It does, too. And Love of My Life, or LOML, was also one of my favorite ones, too.
It took me so long. Someone had to point it out to me to realize that she never actually says Love of My Life in it. So that means that it cannot be called Love of My Life, because that was never actually in there, because it's I'm the love of your life is the lyric. So I'm like, okay, LOML or Loss of My Life.
And then out of all of the original like bonus tracks, I always wanted the Black Dog vinyl cover, but Black Dog is one of my favorites out of all of them. I got the Bolter one though just because she was releasing so many and I was afraid that I wasn't going to get one, period. So I was like, when the Bolter one just happened to be the one that I was going for. So, but then I wanted the manuscript because it's like the original vinyl, and I wish I still would have gotten that instead of the Bolter version, just for like having the cover. But then I want the anthology too because it's the Black Dog version, and the Black Dog was the one I always wanted and should have just bought because I don't know why I didn't. But then I was like, well, I'm glad I didn't get that one because then it would be the anthology, and then I'd have different ones. So I just racking my brain. I know it's so stupid.
Yeah.
But I can't afford half the... That's why I'm like, with this bead project thing that she's got going on right now, it better lead to something good. And I want that as a bracelet. I want it all as my little charm bracelet. I want each little charm just smacking on me.
But,
sorry.
I have, like, a CD for every album. Like, I don't get all the variants because that's just ridiculous amount.
Oh,
but, yeah, I waited for all the versions of the CD and vinyl to come out to figure out which one I wanted, and then I ended up getting the Bolter because that's the one that on the back has the lyric of "You don't get to tell me about sad," since I wrote a song of that lyric, which is very different from where it ends up in Taylor's song.
Oh, Who's Afraid of Little Old Me? When I heard that song, I was like, I audibly gasped, and I think I sent that to Katie. I was like, I lost my shit so much that my dog was downstairs and ran up to the bed and was like, what is wrong with you, Mom? I was like, Aunt, she's going crazy. I was like, I love it. Yes.
But yeah, I was planning to get the like Target version vinyl on release day, but then she dropped the second half. I'm like, I'm gonna hold out till she has all of it on vinyl, just because I don't want to buy two.
Right.
And so I'm like, hello,
that's the other thing is
Taylor.
She keeps releasing all these variants. I'm like, I don't need the first half. I already have
Everyone
it.
jokes
I don't want it.
because she keeps releasing digital versions with like acoustic tracks or demo tracks and stuff, and they're like, she will do anything but release this one on physical
and I'm
of
like,
the entirety of it.
I'm already gonna buy the first half of the album again when I get the anthology because
that's
it's
why
gonna
I'm waiting.
be on it. So I'm like,
yeah.
It stresses me out, and I know it shouldn't, but it does. How Did It End is also like one of my favorite ones. Ugh, I
think
love
she
that
started.
So much.
Didn't she start getting emotional when she played that live too?
Oh, did she?
Yeah, on the bridge.
I like that it's like a very real song about, you know, the gossip of all of it, and especially in her life, but like how people just react when.
And I feel like it's also has that double meaning in a way too, of like, how did it end, like specifically like what happened, but also it's like, but how did it actually end, how is it not still happening? Like so I like that. Also I wonder if this is why LOML isn't track 5, was for the placement of having it right before I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, because when the like meaning of the song hits you at the end of Loss of My Life, you're like completely emotional, and then it's like happy time. So it's like kind of like having that meaning of like, okay, you just have to recover from this because you gotta do it with a broken heart. You gotta just fake it. So I like that track placement of that.
I love I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, but it's slowly become less of one of my favorites since the original time of me hearing it. And I think that's just because we already had songs like Bejeweled that was kind of a similar-esque thing.
Yeah.
So for me, I still love the Midnight's version of that, I think, more. And I knew it was going to get overplayed. I'm sure like in a year or two when it's like not on her tour and like people aren't obsessing over it all the time, then I'll go back to it. But and then when I heard Smallest Band Who Ever Lived, I was like, oh, that's about Maddie. Like I was like, holy shit.
I also love that, like, obviously everyone's gonna speculate. She even like pokes fun at people in But Daddy I Love Him about it, of like having that like, I'm having this baby, no I'm not, but you should see your faces, like poking fun at
until
it took to the bridge.
Yeah, I was like,
wait a minute,
wait a second. Is that what she's been saying this whole time? I was like, holy shit.
But like, she realizes people are going to speculate no matter what. And I think like, obviously there's some things that are specific enough that you know if it's Joe or Maddie Healy. But I think she does make it kind of like just vague enough that like, you're not going to know for sure for most of them. So it's like, can have some anonymity about it.
Yeah. And I think what I love and why I think there's something definitely in this album for everyone, why it's so long, why it's all of is, and I think because she kind of talks about it in the behind the scenes of making and kind of references it in some of the songs, like in Clara Bow and stuff, is I just feel like this is like, and why it's called the anthology is just like, it's a combination of all her works put into this album. Like it's all the relationships that she's been through. It's kind of like
Midnight's is kind
everything.
Of that concept.
Yeah, well, and like Folklore and Evermore too. But I always think, just especially because she's gone back and re-recorded all of her stuff, I'm sure it brought up old feelings. Right. So like, where did they go into this? So I love that too.
And
we had a lot of theories originally, and we were going to save them all till now, but at this point it's like, I mean, I don't even remember half of them. It is in this Tortured Poets Department did get a set list. Right. I think it's interesting. I would love to like, know if she knew which ones were going to be popular off of the album, and that's why she put them in the set list,
right,
or if she got free range to completely be like, these are the songs that I wanted.
I'm sure she has free range, because
but that must be so freeing.
Yeah,
because she didn't have to listen to, I mean, not that she doesn't like listening to the fans, obviously, and I don't think Taylor Swift is the kind of person that puts a song on an album just to put it on, or like,
she also has a good ear, obviously, at this point, where she kind of has an idea of what's going to be like probably the best ones for live performances.
Right. But there was definitely a time back in like the 80s and stuff when artists made the songs, like I think of Billy Joel, because my dad always told me this, was like he put the songs on the albums that he knew was going to be the live songs, and then the rest were kind of just throwaways, like your singles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I just think of like how it had to be, like, albums weren't like fleshed out into full, like some people did, obviously, like I think of Freddie Mercury and like how much effort and there's plenty of work that went into every song, but like artists definitely used to have the songs, like they knew what songs were going to get the attention, and then the B-side songs, like why it was actually called B-side songs is because like people they were the throwaway songs that just added to the record. But I think she purposefully puts in a lot of work into her records.
But also, I feel like a good amount of artists probably are playing stuff that's not released yet on tour and stuff, and testing things out and seeing what the reactions are before they even get put into a recorded version. But hers, she's always so like secretive of stuff. Obviously, when she first started, she would play stuff out, but now it's like nothing gets heard by the public. Only a select few people can hear stuff before it's out. So she has to kind of just like gauge with her own ears of what she thinks is going to be the best ones to put on the tour set list.
And honestly, the Tortured Poets Department set list is one of my favorites. Like it's just,
that's a good one.
It's such a great combination of songs.
And it like all the transitions are really like seamless, I feel like, too.
Yeah.
Like going in from But Daddy I Love Him into So High School, it's like very seamless, and I'm like, ooh, I like how this goes.
Yeah, but it still doesn't completely, I feel like, fit with the whole Eras theme, just because it's so new that it doesn't feel like it fits with everything. But I want to take its own tour.
Yeah. I don't know what her plan is after this, other than to take a nice and well-deserved rest.
Yeah, hopefully.
But yeah, because she has confirmed the Eras tour will be done in December, so she is not like pushing out to do more shows.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Like, I mean, it talks about it, and I could do it with a broken heart of, well, the crowd was chanting more because people are always wanting more from her, and like, you don't owe us anything. Like,
plus,
we're grateful, but you don't owe us anything.
As, like, people always want more from their artists, and why Taylor Swift has always worked really well is the schedule. Like, she does disappear, and then you get to like, it's like the fondness of longing for it, and then you actually appreciate what's being served to you. Like, that's, we talked about in a past episode of artists just like piling out content after content, and why Spotify is not just a content social platform is because it's too much, and then no one appreciates like the work that you put into anything, or like, you know, and obviously she's a very different example because she has complete range kind of to do whatever she wants. Like, I don't think she has I don't even know if she's peaked necessarily yet, but like, she can kind of do whatever she wants, and people are still going to eat it up at some point.
Yeah,
so
for sure. I feel like she's such a songwriter first before anything else, and she said that before and stuff. And obviously lyrics are very important to her and stuff, and she's always been kind of poetic, especially with the last few albums. But I love that she decided to just like completely like dive into poetry with this one, of having everything more poetic. And I think it's funny that people have to like look up definitions of words and are learning new words from her.
And she has such a way of doing it. Again, it doesn't work for everybody. There's plenty of artists out there that do the whole poetic route with their songs, and it doesn't work.
And it's really the fan base. It's like the fan base has to be open to it.
But she also has a way of adding the right undertones underneath it that still make it in the commercial vein. A lot of people that do the more poetic approach to their songwriting then have these weird melodies, or they make it 10 minutes long, and it doesn't, okay, well, besides the one, it doesn't work for a commercial setting. Like,
but it's like, your fan base has to be open to your experimenting or your experimentation of your music and such, to even do something like that, because I'm sure there's definitely artists who, like, she can shift genre, she can shift a lot of stuff, and her fans will eat it up. But,
and
like,
I don't think she would have gotten the same reaction if Folklore and or Evermore got a lesser reaction. I think Folklore and at least Folklore was just going to be like a thing she did because it was COVID and it was a project, and if it flopped, it did not make any impact on her career. Yeah. Really. But because it did so well and everyone loved the more poetic side of her, then she did an Evermore, and then she got the chance to come back, do Midnights, and then she really kind of was able to take her career where she wanted it to and really drive it then.
Yeah, but I think of, like, other artists, I'm trying to think if there's, like, a good example, but I'm sure there's plenty of artists out there who, maybe, like, country specifically, their fan base would not be up to them experimenting and will, like, complain if it sounds different from what they're used to.
Oh, I mean, well, we take Eric Church.
Yeah, I guess his, like, gospel thing. But I don't know if that's a good example or not, because that was more of a general country fan population at a festival. If he was doing a show like that for, like, I would say he would have to warn people that this is what it's going to be, but I think his, like, fan club level type of fans are open to stuff like that.
Well, we could also take Kelsea Ballerini. I think she experimented with her Kelsea album. Yeah. Or Ballerini, whichever one it was.
The acoustic.
Okay, so when she did Kelsea, that was kind of her. She was experimenting out in LA more than she was in Nashville, and it didn't respond well. People didn't like it, so
yeah. But like, there's some people who have, like, pushed back about, like, oh, you're going too pop for country.
But that was the other thing, is I don't know if it was just the timing of it, because there was definitely, when she released that big divide of, like, you can't be country if you're pop, and you can't be pop if you're country, and it took a couple years for people to get over that, because again, country kind of always goes through these periods of, like, fighting for country and being country to the core, and then they'll go back to, no, we like pop country, and then they'll go back to, no, we need country, so it's always swinging back and forth.
I guess, but Eric, I think, experiments enough where he's probably not a good example, though, but, like, maybe, like, Luke Bryan or someone, if they, like,
I don't think
try and do. No, he's not. I'm saying someone who, if they did, it wouldn't be received well.
His stuff's barely getting received at the moment, anyways.
It's not. I like what he's.
Okay, well, that was.
It's not as bad as, like, some other people who are, like, constantly pushing stuff out without really, like, thinking about it. So, yeah. Okay, I've just been, like, holding this one because we were going to be done, and then I had one more thing. Oh, Two Nightstands, Kylie Morgan, which I've mentioned on the podcast before, so I don't know how much we really need to say about that song. But that's the one that's, like, one night stand turns into, and then it lists all these things, and it leads to two night stands, where it's like, oh, I thought this was just going to be, like, a one night thing, but it turns into, like, a long-term committed relationship.
Oh, so twisting it a little bit from the regular... Okay.
So, it's a fun song. I like it.
Should you have picked another one, since you didn't really talk about it?
No, that was just it was a song. I think it's fine.
Okay, so we did talk about Indifferent by Megan Moroney on the first one.
Yes.
But we also
I don't remember what time it got cut off at.
So we said we were going to cut it off just for song purposes, of, like, the cutoff was June 30th.
No.
Didn't release... No, I'm going to explain. Okay. So and then we cut, but we never accidentally talked on the podcast about the song itself. But I did get mentioned to go listen to it.
Okay, because I was gonna say, I don't know. We started talking about the song, and we pulled it and started talking, and then it, like, cut to the next
thing. And then
thing.
we were talking about, we, like, side tangented off of the song for a second, because we were like, we needed to find a cutoff point for how long we were going to go into the year with the music.
Okay.
And then it cut to the next song, because which was Billie Eilish's album,
the mics died.
We didn't realize the mics died and thus cut off the recording.
Yeah.
So, it's a good song. Megan Maroney's awesome. We love her sparkle pink attitude. That was kind of all the gist of it.
And I said that I liked the, like, rhythmic things that are happening.
Oh, yeah. She goes like, dun, 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 dun. And then repeat. But we're excited for her
But it's
album.
a good song. I've been hearing it more downtown, actually. So I'm like, okay, cool. I feel confident that other people are doing it, so then I can also do it downtown, because I was like...
I don't think you need other people's approval. Just do you.
That's true. But I'm just like, is this going to be the one that people will appreciate hearing of Megan's, or are there other songs other than Tennessee Orange for the newer ones?
Somewhere out there, my ex-boyfriend's new
Okay, I've heard that one too. That one's kind of a little older now too. I'm just thinking of like ones that are like for the new album that have come out already. I almost was like, wait, this isn't my turn, but it is my turn.
It is your turn.
Hummingbird, Carly Pierce.
What?
Have you listened to that one yet? Okay. That's her new album.
I stopped listening to Carly Pierce a couple albums ago. No offense.
Okay. Like I said, for Scotty, I think hers is also very like 90s influenced. She has a lot of fiddle, and I'm like, I love this fiddle. My thing was, when I listened through to it, it was like, that doesn't sound right I listened through the album, and I realized that almost every single song on it is like a breakup or like men are bad kind of song. And I kind of wish that there were more happy songs on it too, just to like balance out the mix. Because I feel like albums need variety in their topics. So that was my only thing. As for like album as a whole, I think the topics could have been better, or like more mixed up.
That's kind of why I don't really listen to her stuff, is because it sounds very repetitive. I liked her first album with like Hide the Wine. Mm-hmm. She was also a person I never really got in the first place, because she was in the time where if you were a female on country, the only way you were getting any attention was by doing a big ballad. And then she did her...
Well, that one she's talked about, like, they kind of basically were like, we're putting... Whoever was in charge of music at the highway at the time was like, I'm putting every little thing on the highway. And she thought it was going to be like, this is it. Like, this is my last chance, and this is ruined because no one's going to listen to a sad ballad, and then it blew up.
That's just why I don't agree with that. I think everyone thinks that, but I think the opposite. I think...
Well, she thought that.
Every single female that I have heard... I mean, her, Lauren Weintraub with...
She's Mine.
She's Mine. I mean, it was just like that era of like every big ballad was getting the attention, and that was...
Well, She's Mine was like... Those are way separated years-wise.
I know. I just... There was like that... Fly for Maddie and Tay was like... Was that around that time?
Might be a little earlier than Carly.
Anyways,
but
there was just a lot of ballads by females, and I was tired of that, and I wanted to come down here and make a stand that women can have fun and like have fun tongue-in-cheek type songs, and not just be like, well, kind
of. But then
Hide
like,
the
Wine was her first. Did Hide the Wine go number one first?
Did it? I don't know.
I think so. For radio,
I just was getting really frustrated with that, and just how women were perceived in music in general. Or it was like they could only do like the fun, haha, I like this guy kind of song. And like, while I was writing stuff like that too, I tried to be very different in just like my versatility and just like really different perspectives of things. And so I just wanted to come down and just change the status quo. And that's why I never understood why people were like, oh, you have to have this ballad, and or like, I don't know. It was just very like different. And and all of her stuff is very like older sounding, even though she's young. Kinda. She does have like this older tone to her, so it just like,
I like
doesn't
the 90s
click with
stuff
me.
though.
But I just never got into 90s country either,
I mean, her first album, I was like listening on YouTube to her radio tour performances of songs because her album wasn't out yet, and I was just like in love with these songs. So I remember loving that first album, and I think she liked or retweeted or something my tweet when I went and got the album, because I literally was driving home for fall break and stopped in Columbia, Missouri at the Target and bought it because I still had a CD player at the time, so I could like actually listen to it in my car on the way home. So that one, and like I think it I hate that like she had her album called Carly Pierce, and that ended up being the one that was like the love album for Michael, and then he obviously,
well, and ironically her only album that I actually liked in full was that album.
I really love that album. It just kind of like scrapped it because it's like it's all for this guy who ended up not being good, but it's just like I hate that she
but it's not
had
like
to
you can
name it hers, like, and then it was all
why
for him.
Taylor still plays all her old stuff because it like has new life to it. Like, why
right.
couldn't she just like,
I know,
because honestly that tour would have blown her up. The fact that she scrapped it and did all
but
the 29
stuff that she did really good too though, so
I just think she would have done a lot better had she kept that album, because I heard a lot more good things about that and people not liking that she scrapped it because they got divorced. As far as buzz around town, that was what I heard. So again, maybe there was some stuff with the labels in the background and all this stuff, and they were trying to like fix her image or whatever. But I think she would have done really well if she had toured that album. I mean, life happens and shit happens, and obviously she still has a career. I just think that some behind-the-scenes PR work kind of got fumbled. It was like how when I was taking PR classes, everyone said that Kelsey Ballerini had burned herself out too fast. But then she's
learned, though.
Life happens, and shit happens, and she got really lucky that her divorce album happened to blow her up instead of tear her down like most women get in this industry. Yeah. So.
But yeah, I'm just saying, like, I mean, it was true to her at the time, I'm sure, but she's like, oh, this is self-titled because this is, like, the most me album, but then it ends up being about her ex-husband, who's, like, no longer in the picture, so, yeah, that's just what I mean about that part, like, but
upsetting that it was such a great album.
But it is really a great album, yeah. But yeah, overall, good, other than just, like, wanting a little bit more different topics on the album. The only one I don't like is Heels Overhead because it's kind of slut-shamey.
I know this is completely off topic. This album didn't come out anytime soon. But why I think everyone is upset that those lyrics, though somewhat slut-shamey, aren't, is because we were all angsty teenagers when that song came out with her, and we didn't care because we didn't know any better, and we wanted to sing that because we were trying to get all of our high school hormones out of our system. And I know she was 21.
We were 12 when that came out, though.
When Speak Now came out? She
2010.
was 21, right?
I know, but because 2010.
We were 12?
It came out in 2010.
When
1998 is... So math.
When I was in middle school, girls, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, were you not fantasizing about that boy in your math class, and like you had all these like weird dreams about like, oh, and then he was cheating on me, and like, what would I do in those situations? I was recreating scenes in my head all the fucking time. I don't care. So it's like we were getting all of our like hormonal angstiness out like in our bedrooms, screaming along to this song.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's anything wrong with it, and I think it's just more the nostalgia of what that was at the time than anything else. And she was allowed to be angry and pissy about it, and it's one line.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. That was the only song I didn't care for on Carly's album, though, was because of that. But
I'll see if we keep that part in. Maybe we won't.
I'll see. Do you know the song?
No.
I feel like I've showed you part of it. But
oh, really? Maybe you have.
If we remember, I'll play it for you after this.
Okay. We're already 40 minutes in, by the way.
Okay.
We had long discussions. Okay.
We need to pull more singles because those go fast.
Country with Heart, Part 1, Smithfield.
Smithfield put out an album.
Smithfield was another one that had, like,
I think
they got dropped from their label, and now
they're
like,
independent.
Yeah, so
they're
like, were
doing really well right now of self-promotion and stuff because, shoot, what's the song? Is it called Something Sexy? It's a song that references a bunch of other country songs. We gonna look it up. that one I feel like I saw on TikTok all the time because they're just like, just keep posting videos of the same song because like some people will see all of them, but you're gonna get a lot of new people. Yeah. You'll get most of the people that see videos are like new people and not just the same people, so you're gonna feel like you're kind of gonna get people sick of you, but really not everyone's seeing all the videos, so they just keep promoting, and that did really well for them.
We'll do a whole episode on promotion and stuff because I have a lot of talks about that.
But yeah, they put out their first album, and I guess it's part 1. I don't know when part 2 is coming, but yeah, I've just been fans of them since like they first were on the highway when they were having stuff happen with that.
I saw them back in high school. It was opening for Steve Mokler.
Yeah. I want to say they opened for Easton Corbin when I saw them, but I love it, but at the same time I really love some of their older stuff better because I listened to it and then I was like, okay, I want to go back to can we pull up Spotify again? There's an EP that I really loved and I don't know why, but I was just missing the like summer nostalgia of it. Oh, okay. The 2019 We Make Our Own EP is still my favorite because it has a lot of fun songs on it. I don't know if you know them, but they're just really fun, and I think there's some fun, clever lyrics in that EP. So I just kind of like went back and listened to that after listening to the album, just because I was kind of missing that type of songs.
Did Hey Whiskey come out around
Hey
the
Whiskey
same
was
time?
Before that EP.
But it came out around the same time that Carly's single came out, right?
Oh yeah, because Hey Whiskey and If My Name Was Whiskey were both like very,
and it was
timeline wise close together. But I like Hey Whiskey better, just because I heard that one first. I think it's a matter of what one you hear first, because then that one usually ends up being the one you like better, because that's my same thing with sorry Carly, that I feel bad because I realized they're both hers, but I like Ashley Cook Your Place better than Carly Pearce My Place, and it's the same idea. So I think it's a matter of just which one you hear first. But yeah, but still a great album. It's just, I guess I have a personal preference for that one EP, but I love that they're putting out stuff and doing so well as independent artists right now.
Yeah.
Try to mix them up a little bit. Coming Home. So Old Dominion is putting out new music. Home. Was there a different one?
Usher.
Oh, okay. They put out a new song, and I think, have they announced their album? I think it's leading towards one.
They've announced it, yes.
Okay. But it's
I haven't heard the single though.
Coming home from war type of, I think, I don't remember the hook, but I think it's like Kiss Me Like You're Coming Home From, I'm Coming Home from War, or some type of thing like that. But there's like a line in the chorus of like Katie bar the door. I'm like, wait, what? I had to look up what that was, and it's Katie with a Y, but I guess that's like a southern phrase of some sort, of like some trouble's coming or something. I don't know, but I thought it was funny because I'm like, I don't know what that means, but okay. I had to look it up. But yeah, I'm excited for new stuff from them.
I always love new stuff from them.
I always love it. Also, Memory Lane wasn't my favorite album, so we'll see.
Well, okay, their second album is superior, but
yeah, and I liked the one before this one better than Memory Lane, but it's still good. It's just not my favorite. How
many albums do they have?
I don't remember.
Okay.
But Memory Lane's not my favorite.
I loved Memory Lane.
I like the song itself, and I like the EP that they dropped before the album. Like, the best songs were the ones, like, on the smaller project before the album, and I think they should have, like, saved some of those for the album itself to make it better, I guess.
I'm getting them all confused. I'm a huge Old Dominion fan.
No, what happened was
meshes together because I just love it all. So.
I should know the album titles better, because what happened was I listened to that one, which this came out last fall or something like that, but I listened to the new album and was like, I don't like this as much as I like older albums, and then I had to go back through and listen to older albums and just was like on an Old Dominion kick.
Oh, okay, so I didn't realize that there was a whole album. I've only listened to the EP, so I have not listened to Memory Lane. Because that's where Time, Tequila, and Therapy came from, right?
Time, Tequila, and Therapy was the album before.
Oh.
That one I like.
I love that one.
The Walk on Whiskey is on that one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that album I really like.
Oh my gosh. They have a lot.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Honestly, I've loved all their stuff before. I haven't listened to the single, so I haven't listened to Memory Lane, though, apparently, so I listened to the EP,
really good.
Obviously, because I know Can't Break Up Now and, like, Stay Drunk and Memory Lane and stuff like that. But,
yeah.
And I Should Have Married You, I know that song.
Yeah. Like I said, the best ones are on the EP.
Yeah.
I do like I can't remember what song it's in, but something about, like, ain't nobody want to be the yellow starburst. Everyone put the cherry first or something. I'm like, dang, yellow starburst getting kicked down here. Which Sam likes the yellow ones. So I was like, hey, listen to this.
I don't like
I don't. He can have them. Oh, I think it's yours.
My turn. What are we at?
I can't see.
40-something. 48.
Okay, we might do one more each, and then we're gonna have to do a part
I try to ring on by Tiger Lily. I don't like the gold part, but Tiger Lily.
Tiger Lily Gold. I think there was a reason why, as to, like, I think something was already named Tiger Lily, and they needed to differentiate themselves more.
I liked Tiger Lily though.
I'm pretty sure their Instagram handle is just Tiger Lily still, and that's just what I call them still. But that's because we've known them for so long that I think that it's hard to add the gold when we talk. But
I just don't get it.
So their debut album comes out in July.
That's crazy. I feel like it should have come out last year, but
they had the Blonde EP last year, and now Blonde album is coming out.
Okay.
And they have 3 songs, I think, that they released this year, but 2 are more like, because they just had one out a couple weeks ago. But I feel like the second and third are more like promotional, just like released before the album kind of thing. But I Try to Ring On is the one that's like going to country radio, and they got to perform on the ACMs, and they performed it. I remember them playing this song at CMA Fest last year before it was out.
Oh,
so it was like fun to hear like live and then hear the studio version once it was out. You don't remember that one?
Because isn't that the one I leaned over and I was like, is Krista still dating that guy? And then we were like, I don't know. But because that sounded like, maybe they broke up. And then it is confirmed that they are not together.
Yeah. At least they get a good song out of it. But it's a really good song. So I'm glad that that's like getting the attention of people. I think Kelsey even like shouted them out for some interview she was in, where we're asking about music she's listening to and stuff.
Really.
So
it's funny to see them comment on all of like the big artist stuff now, because they're in that category. I mean, we always knew. I mean, they were so big even when we were in Belmont, just like from their own fan bases. It wasn't anything that Belmont did. It was just like they were so naturally good at building a strong fan base in the Midwest and just expanding that. So, I mean, that doesn't surprise me how big they've come.
Yeah. So, looking forward to the rest of their album. But, yeah. Okay, last one, and we are going to have to do a part 4 because there's so many in here. That Girl, Hannah Ellis. So, her debut album, That Girl, came out in January. And she's been doing like a build-up of it for I don't know how long. She's had her singles spread out a lot. And honestly, I'm kind of like, I kind of looked at her schedule of like when she released stuff to kind of figure out what I want to do next, of having stuff spread out more to give each single more time and all that. But yeah, I love that the songs got their own life and now they're like combined onto an album, but also have some good songs on the album that weren't out yet. But yeah, overall just really good album. I don't know if there's any more specifics about it, but
I don't know a whole lot about Hannah Ellis's music besides the one she put out last year that she flash danced to at CMA Fest, because the studio that I danced at was the flash dance, and I almost was in that, but I didn't want to be in it. So.
Yeah. I know the title track is really good too, but I can't think specifically anything with it other than I know I liked her release plan.
Other than good shout out.
Good shout out, yes.
And
that was not a good
it for part 3.
Throw, but that will be it for part 3. We got a good chunk left, so...
Do you guys want a part 4?
Do you guys want the part 4?
Or are you kind of like over this series? Because we really only have one more left.
We really only thought this was going to be a 2-parter, and apparently we have double the amount.
Yeah. And there's definitely...
at least a couple that I can say need to mention.
Beyonce's Cowboy Carter is in here.
Yes.
So if you guys want our opinions on that as well, maybe you don't. And some other things that I know for sure are in here. There's some good ones in here. Trust me.
Yeah. You're gonna want a part 4.
You're gonna want a part 4. Actually, thinking of the ones I threw in there, you're gonna want a part 4.
You're gonna want it.
So like, comment,
subscribe on YouTube, and Spotify and all the things. I think you can subscribe on all of them. Is that the word for all of them? Follow, if not subscribe. Whatever the terminology is for the platform of your choosing. Yeah, let us know your thoughts on the ones we've talked about in the comments, or you can email us at themusiclenspodcast@gmail.com, and we might read your thoughts on the podcast and have more discussion. I don't know, who knows. Follow us on socials at The Music Lens Podcast. Alex at Alex Lager Music. Me at Katie Fee Music. And that's all the things. And
we will see you guys next week
time. For the finale.
Goodbye.